Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 65 female, recently faced a challenging decision that I never thought I would have to make. I've been dealing with a severe health condition that often causes extreme health issues. After a health scare, I realized the importance of revising my will. My late husband and I had always planned to leave everything to our 3 children. However, what my daughter, 35 female, did made me change my mind drastically. Several years ago, our daughter had an affair with the fiance, 39 male, of a close relative, which caused chaos in our family. Unfortunately, the wedding was cancelled and had financial and emotional consequences. We had to deal with the embarrassment and fallout that resulted from our daughter's actions. Furthermore, our daughter ended up marrying the fiancé, who had a child from a previous marriage. Our extended families cut ties with us, leaving us to cope with the aftermath. The incident caused a rift that was difficult to mend. I was deeply hurt and saddened by her behavior. Despite my efforts to repair the damage, the rift remained. It was a difficult time, and I struggled to come to terms with the fact that my family was no longer whole. And the pain was almost unbearable. After the incident, our relationship became strained, and our family dynamic was forever changed. Fast forward to now, while making changes in the will, I decided to exclude our daughter from inheriting anything. Instead, I left everything to our other 2 children. It was a tough decision, but I knew it was right. When she found out about my decision, she threw a tantrum. She claimed I was being unfair and judgmental of her choices, and called me juvenile for not getting over something that happened nearly 3 years ago. She said that her husband had been counting on her share of the inheritance as a sort of college fund for his son, who will be starting college in a few years' time, and called me heartless for breaking his heart. However, I emphasized that financial assistance for the college education of her stepchild was never my responsibility, especially for someone who is not even my biological grandchild. She expected me to hand over our hard-earned money to some strange child, which I told her was laughable. I could see the rift between us growing wider, but I refused to back down. I couldn't help but wonder if I was being an a-hole to exclude my daughter from my will. Update. The situation with my daughter has taken a turn for the worse, and it's been a difficult time for me and my family. My daughter has been behaving erratically, and she has now started to harass my other children by calling them and making unreasonable demands for money. As a parent, I've had to make tough decisions to protect my family. I had a heart-to-heart talk with my other children and assured them of my complete support. I made it clear to them that they should not engage with their sister's toxic behavior. It was a difficult conversation to have, but it was necessary to ensure that they felt safe and secure in their own home. We have decided to cut off our relationship with her until she gets help. I've also taken steps to protect my other children from her actions. I consulted with my lawyer, who confirmed that my will is legally valid and that my daughter has no legal grounds to challenge it. I'm confident that my decision was the right one, and I'm grateful for the support of this community. Your daughter sounds like an entitled brat, OP. I also don't think she's one bit remorseful about the pain she caused you. I wish your family didn't cut ties with you. After all, you aren't your daughter. Your decision to not do anything to her is yours to make. She is not entitled to any of your money or properties. She should be happy if you give her, and indifferent if you don't, because it's your money and you should get to do whatever it is you want with it. Story 2. I have a problem with my other roommate. We'll call this roommate Tyler. At the beginning of the semester, Tyler bolstered his parents by giving him $400 a month for food. It is now November, and Tyler recently mentioned how he only has $50 to last him the rest of the month. I don't know what happened to the $400 a month. Since Tyler only has $50 to last the entire month, he has been eating ramen and bags of popcorn for basically every meal or skipping meals. If he gets sick of eating ramen and popcorn, he asks my other roommates or I for food. For example, my roommate Kyle ordered a large pizza for himself. After Kyle ate half of his pizza, Tyler made a comment about Kyle ordering a large pizza all for himself. A couple minutes later, Tyler asks what kind of pizza it is. Kyle tells him and Tyler makes a comment on how that sounds really good right now. Kyle gives in and lets Tyler have 2 pieces. He has done this to me too, but I don't give in. If I'm cooking a meal, he'll watch in the kitchen and make comments about how I have so much leftovers. I work or have class from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. almost every day. Having leftovers is nice, so I don't have to cook every day. Recently, I've been noticing that some of my food has been missing. I bought 3 packets of instant potatoes, and when I went to cook one yesterday, I noticed I only had 2. All my food is in a single cabinet, and I wouldn't put it anywhere else. I also have a dozen eggs in the fridge for breading chicken. I don't care if my roommates borrow eggs, however, I just bought them. My other roommates tend to ask if they can borrow an egg, but I'm down to around 7 eggs and no one has asked me for one. I've only used 1 egg since buying them. I caught Tyler cooking 2 eggs today and putting my cheese on top of the eggs. It's not any old cheese either. It's a local type and definitely not the cheapest or your ordinary mozzarella. I told him he needs to ask me next time to use it, and he said he would. I've told my mom about this issue and she suggested I lend him money because no one should have to eat ramen every day. I've worked hard for my money and I refuse to do this. I worked 2 jobs up until this past week and also go to class full time. I think a better solution would be to offer him a job. Like I said, I worked 2 jobs up until this past week. I quit my part-time job because my other part-time job promoted me to full-time. I mentioned to Tyler that I could put in a good word for him, but he says he doesn't have time for a job, despite being free on the weekends. The only income he gets is from tutoring for the school, but it's only volunteer work with a small stipend every other month. I'm getting sick of Tyler scrounging for food. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to lend him money? Not the a-hole, OP. It's okay that you don't want to give Tyler any of your hard-earned money, especially when you have no idea what he's doing with his money. He shouldn't have touched your stuff without your permission, regardless of how hungry he is. The groceries aren't his, he should ask for permission before touching it. And since he doesn't want to get a job, tell him you don't want him touching your groceries anymore. Now for some comments. The easiest way to get rid of someone is to lend them money. He needs food, you need him out of your life. Tell him you can see he is not eating well and you want to help him. Give him $50 and ask him to promise to pay it back as soon as he can. He will actively avoid you for the rest of his life. I have seen this happen personally 4 times. In one case, the person paid the money back but still stayed away. Definitely not the a-hole. Look, homeboy Tyler very well may be in a rough situation, but that's no excuse to steal. And even if it's just eggs or food, it is in my eyes concerning behavior. Frankly, he sounds like entitled shit, thinks it's okay to take, has excuses on why he can't get a job, guilts others into feeding him while wasting what money he has for food on who knows what. You didn't make the choices or mistakes that left him broke and hungry. He did. And it's not your responsibility to pick up the slack. Or maybe I'm an a-hole too. Not the a-hole, but dude, please start looking for better roommates. First off, if it's at all possible, I would see about installing a lock on your cabinet. People like this think they are completely in the right, just taking more and more, and think it won't matter and you'll just get over it. I would absolutely explain to him that he needs to either work to earn enough money to pay for groceries, or figure out how to manage his money better if that is for some reason not possible. But that either way he can't take yours because there's nothing worse than coming home thinking you have such and such in the fridge to make a meal and realizing you don't. I also just learned from this post that you can use eggs to bread chicken. I had no idea I was using honey and water. Story 3. Here are the facts. I, 38 male, am a white-collar professional. Standard Monday to Friday 9 to 5. I make enough for everyone. And we are not in any way hurting for money. We have 2 boys ages 10 and 3. None of the 4 of us have any health problems, handicaps, physical limitations, psychological issues, or any other special needs. After the birth of son number 2, my wife, 37 female, chose to quit her part-time teaching job to stay full-time at home. a decision that I supported. We live in the suburbs of a certain large Midwestern city in an 1,800 square foot house with 3 bedrooms and a yard. Son number 1 has karate lessons twice a week. My wife has to drive him to that. Son number 2 has play school twice a week for about an hour. Her family, parents and sister, live 5 minutes away and are happy to babysit the kids for free pretty much whenever. I'm going to spend this week cleaning the house, again, because it's a damn mess. She does not stay on top of anything. The sink is constantly full of dirty dishes, laundry piles up for weeks. There's always toys scattered everywhere and piles of junk mail and miscellaneous other crap. She vacuums maybe once a month, cleans the bathrooms once every 3 months or so, and never dusts or washes windows or anything like that. I have confronted her many times about this. Here's how it goes. Denial, excuses, anger, tears. She apologizes and promises to do better. About a week of actual effort, backsliding, right back to square one. Am I the a-hole? I know she's not the maid, as she's fond of saying. But am I supposed to hire one? It seems like 2 hours a day would be enough to at least keep up with the dishes and laundry. And son number 2 takes 2-hour naps. Before anyone asks, number 1, no, I'm not an MRA or anything like that. Number 2, I'm 100% sure she isn't cheating. Pretty sure she's just sitting on her ass reading her phone all day. Now for some comments. If you can swing it, hire a cleaning service twice a month. Cleaning sucks, and being a stay-at-home mom is a drag. I've been a stay-at-home mom and now my kids are older and I run a business. Working and running a business is way easier than staying home with demanding, screaming little humans that suck the life out of you. You're really lucky she's willing to do that work caring for your kids. If you can swing cleaning help, it will alleviate a lot of aggravation. Being a stay-at-home mom is incredibly isolating. It is a huge psychological burden. After quitting work, it could be a shock. Your expectations are not unreasonable, but your approach is, she needs help. Psychological depression probably. And a boost from you making her feel that what she's doing now has value. Try the opposite of what you're doing. Tell her all the things you appreciate, and if you can afford it, bring in someone to do a little house cleaning. Acknowledge how hard her job is. I was a stay-at-home mom for about 8 years. Actually just got back into the workforce. What you're describing sounds exactly like me when I started my downward spiral into depression and anxiety. Doing anything, even the bare minimum, was just so effing hard. It's pretty common for anyone who has had a career and then become a full-time stay-at-home parent to go through a bout of feeling worthless, having no purpose and loneliness. She went from feeling like an accomplished adult to watching toddler shows all day. Career woman to glorified maid and babysitter. It happens so often and is something I've seen over and over and over again in the stay-at-home parent community. All that being said, I don't think you're the a-hole here, but it does sound like she may need some help. Not necessarily help with the chores and understanding.